Hello everyone, welcome back to Flow Finance, a channel where we talk about money matters that concern us as Nigerians. Today, we're going to talk about my favorite real estate investment. You know, in my other video, I talked about my favorite investment to take part in Nigeria. Yeah. But today, inside that my favorite, I have another favorite. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. I need to say something. This is the second time I'm recording this video. I don't know, my village people came out en masse. You know, in the other video, I was talking with so much enthusiasm. You know, when I'm talking about my favorite, inside a favorite, I came with all the enthusiasm in the world. But after recording that video, I came to edit it and there was this hissing noise in the video. I don't know where that came from. I sat in my normal spot, you know, my black background spot. That's where I sat. Yet I was hearing this hissing noise like it was raining heavily. And there was no way I could upload that video for you guys. So here am I recording this video again. So I need a lot of swagger. Give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful to ginger my swagger. Okay, my people, before we get into the video, let's talk about how you can send the money for these real estate investments to Nigeria. Have you downloaded SendWave? SendWave is a secure, fast, free, depending on where you live, money transfer app that you can use to send money to Nigeria from the USA, Canada, UK, Spain, Italy, and Ireland. If you're sending from the USA, SendWave will charge you 1% of the amount of money you're sending to Nigeria. For every other place, it's absolutely free. Just download SendWave from Play Store or App Store today and remember to use my promo code FLOW so you can get $5, £5 or €5 added to your first transfer. I have a very detailed video that walks you through how to use SendWave to send money to Nigeria without any problems. And your recipient can pick up the money from any branch of Zenith Bank, Access Bank, or Fidelity Bank. Yes, since the last time I talked about SendWave, they have added Fidelity Bank to the list of banks you can pick up the money from. And your recipient does not have to be a customer of any of these banks to be able to pick up the money. Yeah, it's faster than ever to pick up the money in Nigeria these days. Yeah, it's getting better. We're getting there. Okay, like I said earlier, real estate is there are so many aspects of real estate. You can do land flipping, which is where you buy a land and, you know, buy it low and sell it when the price of the land appreciates. You can build lock-up shops, you can buy market stalls and rent them out to market people, like business people selling in the market. You can build office complex, shopping malls, you can build residential accommodation, which is what a lot of people are into. And in the residential accommodation, there are so many aspects. You have one-room self-contained, you have students' hostels, you have one-bedroom flat, two-bedroom flat, three-bedroom flat, duplexes, detached houses, yeah, bungalows. And out of all these that I've mentioned, school hostels is my favorite ever real estate to be involved in. Before we get into why I like school hostels, let me tell you a brief story about the moment when I started thinking about school hostels as a source of income, you know, something that I can actually invest in to make money. Back in the day, in the 90s, when I was at the university, yes, my university education was in the 90s, so I'm not a small girl anymore. I'm just saying, for some of you that talk to me like I'm in my 20s, no, I am an old woman, so show me some respect. Anyway, when I was in school, I schooled in UNN, by the way. If you're a lion or you're a lioness, holler below. Don't come and tell me you're a silent viewer, eh? Some of you don't comment, you don't communicate with me, but as soon as you need something from me, that's when you remember to run to my inbox and start writing me long stories and start telling me that you're a silent viewer. I'll be silent on you too when you come to me. Comment below now if you're a lion or lioness. Okay, back in the day, in the 90s, every single year during my university education, we were at home for at least 5 months for one reason or the other. If it's not ASU strike, that's when the academic staff union of universities, that's the professors, when they go on strike for some reason, or students did some kind of demonstration when we are unhappy about anything, it will start from peaceful demonstration, but by the end of the week or something, they will start burning things and destroying things, and then they will close the school and send us home to go and cool our hot heads a little bit. So it was one of those occasions. I think a new vice chancellor was sent to our school, and he came and he changed a lot of things. He hiked the fees, a lot of things. So students were unhappy, and we went out for some burning, for some bonfire. And then after that, we were sent home. I remember this vividly because it was just my school at home at that time. Every other person, all my friends were in school. My cousin was in school. We were at home for 5 months. So after some time, I decided to change scene, and I decided to visit my cousin in school. My cousin was in Futo then, Federal University of Technology, Owerri. Are there any Futoites here? If you're a Futoite, oh yeah, comment below and let me know. So Futo, back then in the 90s, Futo was still a relatively new school. So they didn't have enough hostel accommodation for the students. They had only 2 buildings for the whole students in the school. So they gave priority to first year students, final year students, and those doing their postgraduate studies like masters or PhD and all that stuff. So which makes sense. I mean, in your first year, you're still new, you don't know your way around the town, so the school needs to like protect you, shelter you, so they give you accommodation. But after your first year, you are required to move out of the hostel and go sort yourself out as far as accommodation goes. So that was what happened. So because that year my cousin was in second year, so she had to leave the school hostel to go and look for accommodation. So already she was living in this accommodation by the time I visited her. So okay, first of all, Futo, Federal University of Technology, Owerri, even though it's supposed to be in Owerri, but it's not in Owerri town. It's in this small town called Ihiawa. So in the whole of that small Ihiawa town, there was one 2-story building at the town center, a block of 6 flats, and I heard that the owners reserved 2 flats for themselves, so they had only 4 flats available to rent to students. So you can imagine all these other thousands of students, where would they live? Like, there was no accommodation. Because, you know, prior to that time, I was used to, in Anambra State, anywhere there's a school, you'll see privately owned students' hostels. Because, you know, universities or high institutions of higher learning in Nigeria, they never ever, it's only the very old schools, for instance, schools built in the 1960s, like UNN, that had enough accommodation for about 80% of their students. In fact, at UNN, any student that wanted to live on campus will get accommodation. Those that lived off campus were probably nursing mothers that needed to live with their families, so they need to find a special accommodation that will, you know, where they can stay with their children and all that. Any other person, if you're a student and you wanted to stay on campus, you will have accommodation there. That's how much UNN had enough accommodation for the students. But a lot of other schools do not, especially the newer schools, do not have enough accommodation for students. Like in Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka, you will find privately owned accommodation around the school. In Federal Polytechnic, Oko, I have lots of videos of me driving around these places on my other channel. You will see privately owned school hostels. So it was never an issue. So I was surprised to find that in such a place, there was nothing like that, just one building. I started worrying about this because where my cousin was staying, she was staying with an elderly couple. There were so many rules and regulations in that house, in that compound. No talking. If we're talking, I and my cousin will be whispering. Curfew is like very early curfew is like 7 p.m. He has locked his gates, and I'm like, for God's sake, this is a student. What if she's doing some assignment in school, like on the school premises, or at the school hostels or wherever, or in class? Or what if she decided to read in class? Because sometimes reading in your room when there's a bed, you know, so much comfort, is not very motivating. So sometimes students may decide to stay in class and read and then go home late at night. But no, 7 p.m. they've locked their gates. You can't talk, you can't laugh, like have belly laughs, you can't play radio. My cousin had a radio, but we wouldn't play music. Like there was, and it's not like the compound is anything to write home about. You can imagine one room in a compound owned by an elderly couple. What do you expect? It was a pit toilet. Like, the living conditions were nothing to write home about. And I tell you, if there were better alternatives, that kind of place is the last place my cousin will stay in. I know her very well. Yeah. But then you don't have any choice. So you stay there with all the rules and regulations. In fact, I know what it took for them to even allow me to stay. My cousin had to swear for them. Oh, this is my sister, please. This is my sister. She's just visiting. She's not a student here. You know, they wanted to make sure that she wasn't going to squat someone. So like, this is my sister. She had to like swear to God for them. So the thing was, I took it personal. I was like, where are the sons and daughters of Ihiawa? Does it mean that these people do not see this business opportunity? And I started thinking about all the schools in Anambra State where hostels abound, like privately owned hostels. And I'm like, where are these people? In fact, I swore right there and then, I said, this was someone that was still in her first year in university. I was already saying, in fact, when I finish school, if I get a good job, I'll come to this Ihiawa, buy land here, build school hostel. Let me show the sons and daughters of Ihiawa how it's done. Like, anyway, that plan to go to Ihiawa and build a student's hostel never happened. But I'm still open to doing that. Ihiawa people, have you woken up? If you're watching this video and you're a student of Futo, or you went to Futo recently and the sons and daughters of Ihiawa have not woken up, please let me know. Let me go and cash in. Let me go and cash in, because it's a business opportunity. I'm telling you, like, the thing annoyed the hell out. In fact, even up until my brother gained admission into Futo, and I think till he graduated, there was still not hostels. I'm talking about 2000s, yeah? Yeah, 2000s. My brother lived in a town called Obinze. Yeah, if I remember very well, Obinze. This town, it was so far away from the school. You can imagine what a student will have to go to and fro every single day. The money that he must have spent just taking bikes to and fro, and assuming you get home and you found out that you forgot something in school, you have to come all the way back. Like, it's not a favorable living condition for students, really. At that time, students were suffering. They were really suffering. If you're watching this video and you're in Futo, have they built hostels for you guys? Because if they've not, I know that the school must have built a lot more hostels by now. It's been a long time. But if they haven't, if you people are still having accommodation problems, please let me know in the comments. Let me come and cash in. It's not too late. It's never too late to invest in these things. So yeah, that's the background story about when my eyes opened to the business opportunity of student hostels. In fact, when I went back to school, I started making building plans, I'm telling you, of a student hostel that I'll be. You remember from my last story where I told you about how good I was in engineering drawing or building plan drawing or understanding building plans. So I started making mock drawings of the student hostel I'll build in Ihiawa. I'm telling you, like, it was that serious. Anyway, enough of that backstory. Here are the reasons why I love investing in school hostels. That I love it does not mean that it doesn't have cons. Everything has pros and cons, but because this video is about my favorite real estate investment, I'll concentrate on the pros of school hostels, like investing in school hostels, building school hostels for rental so that you can make money. Number one, there's a school hostel investment for any size of pocket, and I'm serious. Let's assume that you have a higher institution in your village. Yeah, you can build a school hostel in your father's compound. One room is already a school hostel. So if you have a large compound in your father's house, the land is free, you just go to one end, build a self-contained room, just one room. It's known as studio flat, one room with toilet and kitchen. Yeah, toilet, bathroom and kitchen. Finish. And you've stepped on the school hostel investment ladder. Yeah. You can, even that building, even that one room, you can build it in stages based on the video I made on my other channel where I told you how to build a house in stages. You can make the foundation and the DPC, and when you get more money, you can do the sidewalls and roof it. Then when you get more money, you can put the fittings, plaster, paint, and all those things, and before you know it, you're done. And let me tell you, the thing about real estate investment is that, remember I said that one of the reasons why I like real estate is that it's something tangible, something you can see, something you can behold. Trust me, once you make the foundation, hey, Chineke, you'll be ready to go and sell your clothes to come and put the money there just to see it get better, just to see the building complete. Yeah, it's very addictive. That's why I keep saying there's a real estate investment for any size of pocket. Yeah, you can save up money. Trust me, so long as you're working and earning income, and enough income that you have change at the end of the month, like after eating, doing the basic things, paying for shelter and all that, clothes, like, I mean, you don't need a lot of clothes, do you? And you have some savings, you will be able to build, even if it's one room. But yeah, one condition is that it has to be, the school has to be in your village, yeah, so that the land will be free. Yeah. And then, because you know, who doesn't have a land in his or her village? Is there? Yeah, I know there are people that don't have land, but at least you have your father's compound. Yeah. Number 2, you know how they say that real estate investment pays off more if it's in the city. You know, the bigger the city, the more the population, the more opportunities, the more you have different classes of people that will be able to pay the rent and all that. But if it's in a village, how many people need rental accommodation in the village? Yeah, I mean, most people in the villages have houses, their own houses. So there has to be something, an industry, a school or whatever, or an office in a particular town for it to make it lucrative for you to build rental properties. But with students hostel, the case is different. Sometimes the government will just go and site a school in one interior village, like at the end of, like, Azobodo, something that we call Azobodo. Azobodo literally means extreme, the most remote place in the world. Yeah, so the government can decide to site a school there, and before you know it, there's a boom for students hostel investment. Yeah. It's just like my husband's village. It was just there, it was just a normal town, but as soon as they brought that school there, oh my God, can you imagine the population that that school alone will pull? I'm not even talking about students here first, just the workers, people working in the school, lecturers and all those things. And then the market in that their hometown grew as well, because you know, the more the population, the more sales, or the more the demand for things being sold in that village. And the more people, the more construction going on. So building materials will be booming. People that do artisans will be getting a lot of work. So that's how a town develops. School hostel is an opportunity for you to invest in real estate in your hometown or in your home state. Number 3, there's an abundance of schools, institutions of higher learning in Nigeria. If there's anything that Nigerian government has in abundance, it's institutions of higher learning. Every state will have a federal university, a state university, polytechnics, colleges of education. Like my state, Anambra State, for example, it's the smallest state in Nigeria. Anyway, I'll put the map on here so that you see the size of my state. In this small state, Anambra State, in this small state, we have one federal university, Nnamdi Azikiwe University. We have one state university, Anambra State University, Uli. We have Federal Polytechnic in Oko. We have Federal College of Education in Umunze. We have 2 private universities. I think we have Madonna. I don't know if these private universities allow their students to live off campus. And we have St. Paul's University College, okay? And all these schools I mentioned, a lot of them have campuses. Like if they have the main campus in one town, they have their other campuses in other towns. So that spreads out the student hostel opportunity. Yeah, there must be one close to you. This is a small state, I'm counting. And there's a school in Nsugbe, I even forgot that one. And these schools, trust me, all these schools, none of them provide enough accommodation. I mean, the school itself providing enough accommodation for students. So there's a lot of opportunity for private people, like individuals, to come and build school hostels very close to the school. Again, on my other channel, I showed a video where I and my brother-in-law, we were driving around my husband's hometown, and you saw the mighty hostels they built in. This is in Omunzel, not talk of when you go to Oka. If you go to Oka, you see hostels, like 5-story buildings. So like one building can contain 80 rooms, 100 rooms, yeah, for students. So yeah, there's an abundance of schools. Anambra State, Nigerian government, they are all building schools. Building. If they build other things, just the way they build schools, Nigeria will be a better place. Okay. Number 4, with students' hostels, you can plan ahead as far as shuffling of tenants go. When students move into your school hostel for the first time, usually they'll fill a form just like any tenant moving into your property. And from there, you will know which year the student is in and the expected year they will graduate. And that's when they will move out. So give or take, you will know and plan ahead how you reshuffle your tenants, unlike the normal residential rental property. While some tenants will move into your normal residential property and live there for 10 years, there are some tenants that will move in and without warning, at the end of their first tenancy agreement, that's 1 year or something, or 2 years, they're already moving out. And then you have to scramble and look for another tenant that will occupy the place. If not, your property will be vacant. That takes me to the 5th reason why I love student hostel investment. There is hardly any vacant room. Yeah, as long as the rent you charge is the normal rent that is acceptable for that area, yeah, you hardly ever get a vacant room, because students, before they move out, they're already introducing their friend as the new tenant. Yeah, they will even be begging you, because probably when they live there, their friends were visiting them and they like the room and they want to take over. Yeah, so the students will be your agents, your real estate managers that will be finding new tenants for you. Yeah, you hardly ever get a vacant room. Yeah, which is good, because it's always occupied, and once it's occupied, it's money for you, not the normal rental property where a tenant might move out and it will take years for you to find a new tenant. And then another reason is that students hardly owe. Yeah, students hardly owe, because the way we do in Nigeria is that our parents take care of our education. Okay, our parents, guardians, or benefactors take care of our education from nursery school till university. It's not like in the Western world where once you're 18, once you finish your secondary school, you're on your own. You have to go and look for students' loan to see yourself through school, or you look for scholarship. No, it's not like that in Nigeria. Anybody that is responsible, they see this accommodation as part of their, so as they are paying their tuition, they are paying for the accommodation as well. And nobody wants their ward to, they don't want their academics to be disrupted because of accommodation issues. So as they're paying for tuition, they're paying for accommodation as well. Also, the way you check it at the beginning of every academic year or at the beginning of the person's rent cycle, you ask for the receipt. The janitor you put there will ask for the receipt. If the person doesn't have a receipt, no entry. So they endeavor to pay on time. They don't owe. And I mean, from time to time, there will be people that have really serious problems that they can't pay, up, down, left, right. Yeah, they don't have money to pay. In that case, they'll move out and probably go and find a friend to stay with, because it's easy for one person to move out and find where they will put their head than for a family to move out. So students usually don't owe money. Yeah, it's rare for you to find a student that, because you put a structure in place to make sure that they don't owe the money. So every academic year, your receipt or no entry. So that's all my reasons for loving student hostel. Why it's my favorite real estate investment. Yeah, it's very easy to manage. I mean, I'm sure that if I start thinking, I'll remember so many small reasons why I love it. I'll leave you with those 6. Yeah, in another video. Let me not say my next video, because I have a lot of next videos that I've not met up with. In another video, I'll talk about the cons. Yeah, because like I said, everything that has a pro has a con, negative side of real estate in general. And in that video, I'll talk about student hostel as well. If you enjoyed the video, if you found it helpful, even though I think it's all over the place now, because yeah, like I said, I've done this video before, give it a thumbs up. Yeah, and subscribe if you're enjoying the content on here. A lot of you are not subscribed, because when you see me, you think you're on my other channel where you've subscribed. Yeah, subscribe here. If you're watching a lot of these finance videos, just subscribe and enable notifications so that you know when I upload. Bye bye.